In this video, we are going to swap the lens from the Leica, Panasonic and Sigma body onto another body and just try to see how the performance is like when we are swapping the lens and bodies around. Good morning everyone, Rich Wong here. Welcome back to the channel. So since the official L-mount Alliance announcement was about 1 year ago, now we finally got a new camera from each of the 3 L-mount Alliance members. We have the Leica SL2, we have the Panasonic S1R, we also have the S1 and S1H, and then we also have the Sigma FP here. So I thought maybe it's a good chance to get all the 3 cameras together and just see how it would be like if I get the lens from one of the L-mount Alliance member and mount it on the body from another of the L-mount Alliance member. Because after all, the compatibility between these 3 manufacturer is one of the biggest selling point of the L-mount Alliance, because right now there are 6 full frame camera manufacturer and 3 of them are in the L-mount Alliance. So let's go and do some tests and see how the performance is like. First thing I want to clarify is this is not a camera versus camera comparison test. I'm not going to do some camera comparison. It's more like how the lens would perform. Does the thing that you expect to still work when you mount it onto the camera from another manufacturer? So maybe in the future I will do some camera versus test, but this video is not really focused on comparing the performance of the different cameras. And before we go and do more tests, I have a quick question for you guys. So I have the Sigma FP body here, and I have 3 batteries here. One with the Panasonic Lumix name on it, and one with the Sigma name on it, and one with the Leica name on it. So which of this battery would work on the Sigma FP? Write your answer in the comment below. Don't cheat. I'm going to tell you the answer at the end of this video. So the first thing I want to know is whether things like the aperture ring would work when I mount it on another body. So I use the Sigma 45 2.8 lens and I mount it on the Panasonic body, and yeah, it works perfectly. When I change the aperture ring, I can see the aperture got update on the body immediately, and also then put it on the Leica body. Not surprised, it also worked perfectly. And then I thought, okay, what about the Panasonic lens, because it not only have aperture ring but also have the manual focus clutch that you can switch between manual focus and autofocus mode. And so I put it onto both the Sigma and also the Leica body, and yeah, the aperture ring definitely works perfectly. And then I tried the focus clutch, and it also worked flawlessly. As soon as I pull the clutch into the manual focus mode, the camera will detect automatically, and when I change the manual focus, and then you can see that the camera will start zooming to allow you to get the precise manual focus. So very good. The basic compatibility, no problem at all. And then the next thing I test is the autofocus. I just swap the lens around. So I put the lens from one manufacturer onto the body on another manufacturer, and so I test pretty much all the combination, and I did the test in photo mode. I choose single autofocus and a single point autofocus. Unfortunately, I couldn't attach an external HDMI recorder to record the autofocus action to show you the performance it's like, because due to how this manufacturer implement the autofocus system, as soon as I attach an external HDMI device to any of this camera, then the camera will change the autofocus operating frequency to a lot slower, so the autofocus performance would not be actually the same as how it normally is. So I could only use another camera to film the rear screen, so I apologize for that. As you can see, the autofocus performance when I'm taking photo in single autofocus mode is very good with all the combination that I have tested. The autofocus speed is fast, very reliable, and there's almost no hunting at all. And then the next thing I test is what about if I shoot video and use the continuous autofocus mode. And before I continue, I want to emphasize again, I'm not comparing the autofocus performance of this camera, because if I want to do that, then I have to make sure everything is in a more controlled and similar way. So for example, I need to use the same lens on all the body. So I actually didn't do that. The only thing I did is make sure I turn on the face detection and also shooting at f4 aperture, but because of the different lens, the focal length is also different, so they are not really comparable. But anyway, have a look at the result. I think overall, the autofocus performance when you are shooting video in continuous autofocus mode is also pretty good. There is very minimal hunting. While sometimes the response may be a little bit slow, but I think that's more to do with the camera body's autofocus implementation rather than because it's using a lens from another manufacturer. No matter you are a photographer or videographer, if you are looking at buying a lens from another of the L-mount Alliance member for your L-mount camera body, performance should be very similar to as if you are just using a lens from the same manufacturer. And another thing I want to talk about is when I was reviewing the Sigma MC21 adapter a while ago, one thing I noticed back then is that the adapter doesn't have a USB port on the adapter, unlike the MC11 which has a USB port. At that time I was a bit confused because does that mean the adapter cannot be upgraded, cannot do any firmware upgrade in the future? That would not be very good. So turns out you can just update the Sigma MC21 adapter by connecting to the body. And not only that, you don't really have to use a Sigma body to update the firmware. You can just mount it onto a Panasonic body and just do the update just like as if you are updating a Panasonic lens. So I guess that's another hint to tell you that the L-mount Alliance members are really trying the best to make sure the accessory and lenses are really compatible with each other. Now, have you already write down the answer to which of these battery would work on the Sigma FP? If not, you can still write it down now. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the answer. The answer is all three batteries, the one from Panasonic, Leica and Sigma, can all work on the Sigma FP body. And since you are watching this video and you haven't skipped to the next video yet, I assume you are either currently a L-mount shooter or you're quite interested in getting a L-mount camera. If you are currently a L-mount shooter, have you tried using a lens from another of the L-mount Alliance member? What's your experience? What do you feel the overall performance is like? Are you happy with the result? Is there something that you want them to improve in terms of compatibility or any other things? Feel free to drop a comment below. And thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, remember to thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already.